Yes, no.
You have to start all over.
Can they hear us now?
Now they can.
Okay. Hello,
Okay,
hello.
guys. So,
Let's try this
welcome
again.
again. I'm so sorry about the difficulties, the technology difficulties. We try our best, but today we're not going to let nothing phase us. We are
Yes.
here.
Meant
We
to
want
be,
to
will be.
talk to you, and we're going to talk to you.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, I was saying that today on Taxfit à la Carte, we have Dr. Jason Prendergast.
Hello.
He does relationship counseling, and I was very excited to know that he's going to be here with us because
Hmm.
I love people. They call me a people
I
person.
can tell.
Okay, so that's why I'm very excited to have you. Welcome.
Thank
You
you.
for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
I'm honored to be here. Truly honored.
So I was explaining to him why did we start Taxfit à la carte. It's because you can lose everything, but you
Hmm.
cannot lose what you know.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I decided I wanted to bring to this table interesting
Mm.
individual from different background,
Mm.
and then my audience could learn something from them.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why we have different people that I think is making an amazing difference in the community. And then you can talk to them, ask them questions, and you learn something new today. So today we're going to talk about relationship counseling. I
Okay.
hope you're ready.
Got some good stuff. Yes.
So, before we dive in, I want to remind you how some lucky viewer is going to win their electricity bill paid. So, Jason, why we paying the electricity bill is because
Hmm.
Carl over here came home one day and he just had his daughter
Mm.
and he found that his electricity was cut off.
Wow.
So you have new mom, new baby, 1 day old, and then no electricity in the house. So that was a very difficult moment. And that's why we're doing this. So
Right.
far, we have been paying more than 26 people in electricity bill.
Wow.
Every month, we pay 2 people's electricity bill.
Wow.
So if you want your electricity bill to be paid today,
Uh-huh.
you need to like the live,
Mhm.
share the live with as many people as you can. We're not about to stop this. Please do not try to not share the live because you want to win. I assure you, every Tuesday, we're going to pay somebody electricity bill. So you're bound to win, okay? So share the live.
Awesome. Can I win? Can I?
Can you? Yes, I was going to say later, but
Okay.
my team is so excited that they wanted to say that
Yes.
Dr. Jason here has an amazing gift for us. I'm going to let you tell them what they can win today.
Okay, well, to a lucky viewer, actually two lucky viewers, I'm going to give away free therapy and counseling. This includes a professional clinical temperament assessment. We're going to find out some really amazing, interesting things about each other and help you to live a more balanced life. So make sure you share. As she said, we need a lot of people, and we're going to give away two full therapy sessions to any of those who need it.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so the team back there, can we go to our motivational speech?
All right.
Okay. You know that we
Yes.
believe that positivity is
Every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around.
Never believe a prediction that doesn't empower you. How many predictions have been thrown at you your whole life? If you believe predictions that do not empower you, you will wither away and die. Either physically die or your spirit will die as you just walk around the world like a carcass that is just following the masses. You will be given a lot of titles in your life. You will be told so many different things. You must only listen to that which empowers you.
And
See, it's not important how long you live. What's important is how you live.
The first thing I believe you got to do to turn yourself around is really take control of your mind. Or specifically, you got to feed and strengthen the mind.
Guess what? You're going to make some mistakes. So the person who's never made a mistake hasn't done anything. If you're going to make some mistakes if you want to do something out here, you're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to be criticized when you come out into the arena called life. You're going to feel awkward and stupid and dumb sometimes. It goes with the territory. But it's okay.
Take charge of your own life. Then walk away from the 95%. Don't go where they go. Don't do what they do. Don't talk like they talk. Develop you a whole new language. Don't use their vocabulary. Don't use their excuses. Once you look back on it, you will never turn back. You'll never go back to the old ways and the old language and the old neglect. Never.
Spend each day trying to be a little wiser than you were when you woke up. Discharge your duties faithfully and well. Step by step you get ahead, but not necessarily in fast spurts. But you build discipline by preparing for fast spurts. Slug it out 1 inch at a time, day by day. And at the end of the day, if you live long enough, most people get what they deserve.
Okay, now you can.
Never believe a prediction that do not empower you. What do you think about that, Dr. Jason?
Wow, powerful video, very powerful video. One thing I want to touch on first is the word empower. I think we really got to focus on the importance of that word. Empower is just not to build up, but it's also to sustain. And when you empower someone, you're not only giving them the edification in the moment, but you're also giving them the ability to continue that. And that's why I just love it when you empower people. Now, something that's really important is you got to be careful who you listen to. You gotta be careful who you let get inside your head. Who gets inside your head becomes your master. And so I think it's very important if you're going to allow somebody to predict things about you, that you know your self-value, and you're very cautious of being hit with labels. I don't like labels, and we live in a label society. Everybody wants to label you this or that. The only one you should be concerned about labeling you is your creator, and that's how I personally feel about that
Powerful.
video. Powerful.
I like that.
Empower.
Me, what I would say is I realize that a lot of people, they only can give what they know or what they have. So you cannot let yourself be limited by someone else's belief, because
Exactly.
maybe that's all they can believe in. So that's why you need to find the center inside yourself,
Yeah.
you know,
True.
and,
Very true.
and go and grab what you believe, create your own belief, because other people, their belief is clouded from a lot of stuff, you know, and you cannot let that become your reality.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good.
Thank you again for being with us,
Ah,
Dr.
my pleasure.
Jason.
My pleasure.
Guys, please share the live. That's very important. I want to reach a lot of people today because that's such a beautiful subject. Relationship counseling. Come on, help me here. So tell us a little bit about who is Dr. Jason.
Oh, wow. We have enough time? I was born in Chicago, and first and foremost, I'm a man of faith. That is what I build my life upon. I'm a child of the Most High. I'm also the proud father of the most amazing 15-year-old beautiful daughter of mine. What's up, Z? Can you say hello?
Hi, Z.
But as far as me, that's on the personal side. On the business side, I'm the president and CEO of Edified Creative Counseling Group. I was born in the wonderful city of Chicago and relocated here a few years back and kind of messed around after high school, didn't really take life serious. And then that light bulb went off. And ever since then, it's just been a mission. God has definitely been the focal point, the foundation of it. And I'm very thankful. And now I get to sit with wonderful people like you and and talk about relationship counseling, which right now I think is very important in society right now. There's a lot going on. Relationships are not what they used to be. We're facing incredible pressure in relationships. So anything I can do to give back or give help, I'm here.
So I love that name, Edify Inc. So
okay.
why Edify Inc.?
Well, when you think of the word edifice or edification, that's to build up and strengthen and fortify. So in my practice, I want to edify people. I want to build them up. But as the word empower, we just can't build them up. We have to give them something to sustain them, to go forward. So that's why my counseling, I really love what I do through temperament therapy. I give individuals the opportunity to really truly understand themselves, to edify them, and also to sustain them as well. So that's where the word edification.
I like the name.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
So you know
like
what to look. I believe that the team wrote down there Edify Inc. So look for it. You know.
Yes. Please.
So what is your special message to this crowd that's watching us today?
This special message actually comes from a recent interview I did. Okay. And it dealt with a gentleman who was a celebrity in another country in the islands and had a little suicidal attempt online. At least some people believe he did. I was asked to come on the show to talk about it and battle depression. And what I got out of it mostly is how we've isolated ourselves from people. 1 out of 5 of us are dealing with depression right now. So if we line up 10 of our friends, it's a good chance that 2 of them are dealing with some form of depression. And what really bothered me is when you look at the numbers, over 80% of these cases could be effectively treated if we knew about them. Yeah. People aren't talking about it. They're keeping it to themselves. They're isolating themselves. And I think we as a society, as our brothers keepers, need to get back to checking on people, not just saying, hey, how you doing, but hey, how you feeling? Is there anything you're dealing with that that we can talk about? Especially men. Men, we need to communicate. We need to get more on a.
Yeah, I agree.
Just in general, because things are.
Because you think you're the the Lion King.
We build these walls up, and I'm just like, come on, stop it. Just talk to each other. Find out we're all dealing with stuff. We're all stressed out. We're all anxious about things and dealing with depression in some form or fashion. So it's good to communicate.
Yes, many of us dealing with depression, and I take that very seriously.
Very serious.
Yeah, if I feel that something is not going on, right. I'm not a licensed therapist, but at least I'm like, reach out for help. Yeah, because sometimes you just want to talk about it.
Exactly. You just need an outlet.
Yeah, and
it's so hard to trust people. So yeah. Look out for the people you love.
So, tell us at Edify, and can you describe to me how a counseling session goes?
Absolutely. A counseling session generally starts with me having some type of assessment to see what's really going on. What are some of the issues? I do couples counseling, relationship counseling, a little bit different than a lot of counselors. I like to sit down individually, one-on-one. I like to see what's going on with you. The basis or the reason I do that is because I don't believe you can make a beautiful relationship if you have broken pieces. So to attack the individuals, to make sure they're comfortable in their skin. Some people are not really ready for a relationship. I'm gonna be honest with you. We get into relationships for the wrong reasons. And it's good to sit down and kind of get somebody comfortable with themselves. And then you present them as a couple and you counsel from that perspective. So that's initially how I do it. I like to administer the assessment, the temperament test I told you about. She's going to take it, by the way.
Yes.
Carl too. And it's going to give you an amazing foundation to really build upon the relationship. And it's so accurate and so effective.
Yeah. Relationships are important. And actually, a lot of people, when you say the word relationship, they automatically think of couple. But there's so many type of relationship, and they're all important. The relationship with your kid.
Yes.
Some parents don't know how to handle their kid. They think that they were supposed to be born knowing.
Yes.
And every kid is unique, and it's a relationship with your friends. So I think that's very important.
It is.
Everybody.
Thank you for bringing that point up.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yes. There's a lot of different relationships, absolutely, and this temperament test actually will suit every relationship. It'll give you just a better foundation, and more of who you are, a deeper self-awareness. So that's what we try to focus on.
So, would you say can a relationship be doomed beyond repair?
Now, some people may not understand my answer, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Yes and no. Yes and no. Now, I study temperament, so I know that we all process things differently. How you see things or how you feel about a certain subject is different than how I do. Just like our fingerprints, our DNA is different, our temperaments are different. So there are temperaments, the melancholy, more specifically, that they have a very hard time dealing with. They have a hard time suppressing a bad memory. So if you defied their trust, if you did something in the past, it's a good chance they will never forgive you. Now, certain people don't have that problem. They can kind of get past it and learn to forgive. But the part of the reason why it's so hard for them to kind of let it go is because they have a mind that continuously is running like a TV set. It doesn't shut off. And often they're being forced to relive those memories over and over again. So some people, instead of doing that, they just take themselves out of the situation. So yes, and no. There are some situations where if that complete trust is defied, there may be no coming back from that.
Wow. Yeah. But
Good thing.
if they-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's a good thing to learn your temperament. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, because if you understand who you're dealing with,
Yeah,
maybe you
kinda-
can deal with that person better.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, what can you talk about marriage in its core?
Oh, wow. Yes, I can. There's a lot of facets of marriage, but for the most part, I think marriage is a part of society that needs to really be addressed. The numbers, of course, are just staggering as far as the number of divorces, as far as in the marriage rate. In totality, I look at marriage as a covenant between man, woman, and God. And I think a lot of people have forgotten the God part, and they've tried to deal with everything on their own in every situation. And unfortunately, we're not made for that because, as the Bible says, man will fail every time. Our flesh is weak, and I think those times when our flesh really breaks down, we need that spirit. We need that other entity, that other force to really pick us up. And I think if we kind of get back to the basic and the foundation of what marriage really is, we'll be better overall as a society.
Since you're dealing with married couple
Yes.
most part of the time, why do you think people get married?
Oh, well, okay. To each his own. To each his own. But you know what? Honestly, you just hope that people are getting married for the right reasons. You want to hope that people are at the point where they're not thinking, what can this person do for me, but what can we do together? You want to build something, but actually there are percentages, and the number one reason people get married is love. Love will always be the foundation. The next area why people get married is that they're looking to engage in a long-term commitment with somebody. The third reason is they're looking for what do you call it when you want to hang out? I can't think of the word, but they want companionship. Oh my goodness, they want companionship. So and then the next one would be to have children, to raise a family. And finally, you have people looking for financial stability, and of course, to meet their physical needs. So that's
maybe
that's
people
why
that are afraid, loneliness, being alone.
Yeah, companionship. That's why. Yeah, definitely, absolutely, that falls in that category.
So, how hard it is to stay married in this era?
It's not impossible. But it is difficult. It is difficult. I mean, just look at all the outlets out there where you constantly have to have your guards up. Just being a man today, it's the TV, the internet. You really kind of literally have to unplug from everything to not be distracted. And that's what I look at it today. I don't think we're weak as people. I think we're just too distracted. There's just too much going on. We're not paying attention to the things we're supposed to. Our families, our children. Betterment in our finances. We're too busy trying to be liked and trying to be accepted and from people that really honestly don't care about you.
I think people take people for granted.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And I have another angle about like the new era. Like nowadays, people get divorced more than back then. I think back then maybe people didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So nothing has changed.
Right.
If people back then, it was easy for them. Like today, to get divorced, maybe would have the same percentage.
Yeah, yeah. That's a very good point. Absolutely right. Some things change, some things stay the same.
So, when do you think married couples should seek counseling?
My honest answer: if you're married and you've never gotten counseling, it's late. You're too late. Too late. You should have. Counseling, especially for people who are thinking about getting married, needs to be preloaded like accountability. Accountability is something in the business world, as you know, that's very important. And unfortunately, accountability is never preloaded. It always comes up when something happens. I think it should be marriage counseling should be taken in the same respect, in the same regards, and preload it and sit down. It gives you an opportunity to see pitfalls before you fall in them, to help you maybe address some issues before they become issues. So I really, really think that if you have never gotten any kind of counseling, call me. I can probably.
I agree with you.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
And if you're looking to get married, it's never too late. And even if you're in a relationship, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have somebody else's perspective other than yours and your mates.
Yeah, I think that disagreement is always a matter of talking. But the thing is, when you talk to each other, if I'm already like in the mood that I know I'm right, and then you think you're right, when you have someone in the middle that we both trust and we can talk to, maybe then you can say, you know what, maybe I'm not that right. So I would encourage anybody to always seek counseling.
Yes.
It should have been like a normal way of life, like the way that you go to your doctor for annual checkup or whatever.
Well, you think about it, the school system. Do the schools still have guidance counselors? Do they still have? I don't even know.
I don't know.
They probably cut that in the budget too.
I was not raised here.
Okay, well, schools here, and at least when I went to school, we had guidance counselors. We had people positioned to help us to get to that next level. And even when you went to college, you had some type of advisor who would, guide you. And just as we kind of escape that world, we're just on our own, in a sense of just hopefully we figure it out. But ultimately, God is the best counselor. Just remember that.
While you're saying that remind me when I was in Haiti, the family that was living next door, they had like Monday prayers at their house. So they had a lot of kids, 5 kids. And on that Monday prayer, all the kids were allowed to say anything that they want, what they're angry about, what they're angry with their parents.
That's actually pretty good.
Yes, and that family was so tight because of that.
Right.
That's the power of counseling and be able to express yourself.
Right.
Because a lot of resentment comes from you not expressing it.
Oh wow! You're not a counselor. It's the internalization of things will lead to more problematic situations. You internalize things, you don't deal with things, you don't address issues. It actually can cause more than a mental or emotional damage. It can cause physical damage. You can get sick and ill from this. So that's great. I think that's a great idea. I mean, wow.
So at Edify Inc., do you counsel only married couple, or you also counsel parents, siblings?
Oh wow! Everybody's dealing with depression. It's not based on a group. It's not based on an individual. Everybody's dealing with stress. Everybody just wants a better life. Here's the thing about the temperament test. A lot of people think you only take it if you really need it. It's for everybody. It's just for you to get a better understanding of how you really think about things. And the thing about temperaments, it's innate and inborn behavior. So it doesn't go away. It stays with us forever. It's innate behavior. So I think it's important that, people take a look at it and see how they can improve. The ultimate goal of this is to bring balance, body, soul, and spirit. And that's the goal. And so I don't know anybody who's not looking to bring balance. Body,
so
soul, and spirit.
I can gather my sisters and
everybody, the whole family. Yes. Everybody, cousins, nephews, uncles, everybody. Just get them all.
So can you tell us a funny story that happened in your career? A funny couple?
I'm not a funny guy. I'm not a funny guy.
Really?
I don't.
You're funny.
Yeah. I'm running off the caffeine right now, but I'm not. I actually have more of a, I think, a kind of a moving story to kind of share. And as I share this story, I just want to remind people out there that God is going to use people to bless you. You don't know who it's going to be. In fact, you might be the person He's using to bless other people. Back in 2011, a man named Dr. Kevin Norton used to be the accountant for a business I worked for. And he would come in there on a Tuesday to do the books. And I had just finished my MBA in business, and every time he would see me, he said, "Hey, why don't you?" Well, he notified me that he was part of a school that was forming a chapter in Fort Lauderdale, and it's called Maranatha University. And he said, we got this PhD program. And I'm just like, listen, man, I've been in school for 10 years straight. I'm done. I got my bachelor's, got my master's. I'm good to go. I want to enjoy a little bit of life. And, he accepted my refusal and walked out of there. And I remember one day he came in, fast forward a little forward, he came in there, and it wasn't the normal day he was supposed to come. And he came and he looked right at me and he walked straight towards me. And he said, "Can I talk to you for a second?" And I'm saying, okay, what's up with him, And he tells me, God spoke to me. God spoke to me last night about you. And me being a little bit of a clown, I'm like, what'd he say? I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And he said to make you a doctor. And you could have literally sucked the air out the room. I just heard silence, and I just felt something I didn't really feel. And I've been running before away from him in this opportunity. I just couldn't run anymore. Wow. So that really happened. You can call him up and ask him. He'll tell you the same story. And it's just how sometimes God not only speaks to us, but he speaks to us about other people. And you got to be your brother's keeper. If you feel like you need to intervene or edify or empower someone, do it. Do it. Trust me, you're doing God's work. So that I am indebted to the man, but I'm also just blessed that he heard the voice of the Lord and he acted. He did something about it,
And that you received it too.
And I'm here right now.
Because some people would not have received it.
Yeah, I'd have been like, nope. I'm good, but you need to recognize when somebody is coming in the name of the Lord, and I did.
Okay.
Thank God I did.
So we're going to go to our audience right now. I'm sure they have questions. They always have questions. So we rely on our team back there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
question number one was Ms. Kagarian. When you think you just want to give up and you reach out, how you think maybe understood and no one hears you, what do? That's when I guess just trying to reach out but nobody's hearing her.
Oh, yeah, that's very deep. I see what she means. So
when somebody's reaching out for counseling and nobody's really hearing you, I would definitely encourage people to really be assertive. What I realize in a lot of temperament reports that I administer, I see that people often expect people to read their minds.
Yep.
We can't. Most people can't. At least I can't. I don't know about it. You may have supernatural powers, but I can't. So a lot of times you really got to be more assertive with what you need. A lot of people don't want to tell people they're depressed or dealing with something because it makes you look vulnerable, makes you look weak.
Yes.
And we have this false sense of strength sometimes where we actually need to open up. So if you have a circle that you really can't crack, if you have people who you feel like, even if because there's nothing worse than building up the courage to tell somebody and they not even, feel you. They just, and I got my own problems. And that's where you need to reach out to a professional. There's a lot of people in place around the society that you can reach out to. There's pastors, there are people in the school principals that you can trust their opinion and their authority. And of course, professionals like myself.
Yeah, I will definitely say reach out.
Indira's asking, what advice would you give to those who are not familiar with mental health issues?
I'm sorry?
Not familiar with mental health issues.
That are not family?
Familiar.
With mental health issues. That's kind of a broad question, but I think a lot of people who are dealing with some mental issues, there's some signs. Your eating patterns change. Your sleeping patterns change. You can't go to sleep. You're up all night. You're anxious about things, and there's a few different signs. So that's kind of a vague question, but I think the best way, if you're really concerned that you may have some things going on, call a professional. Give me a call. I offer complimentary consultations. I can't tell you if you're crazy in 30 minutes, but I will do my best to try to assess your situation and give you good, sound, non-judgmental information and feedback.
Well, I've been depressed sometimes, and I think the pattern is I just feel I want to stay in my room.
Isolate
yourself. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything. I just want to close out the world. And if I see it's going a couple of days, so I reach out.
That's good. Listen to her.
Lavi Bohem asks, how do you find what you need? How do you find out what you need? That's big.
You call Dr. Jason and you book a session, Janan. But yeah, what do you say about that question?
Oh, that's another vague question. But I think we all kind of know what we need. I think just the means to get there we don't have. We don't have the outlet. We don't have the resources. We may not have the strength. We may not have the belief in ourselves. But deep down inside, I think a lot of people have some type of clue where they want to go. It's just getting there is the problem. And I can help you get there. I promise. I think.
Next. All right. So, Jason.
Yes.
How was it to leave the security of a 9 to 5 to go into your own venture?
Wow, scary. Scary. To walk away from a steady paycheck, a steady source of income. I just think of one word, and that's faith. I mean, if you don't have it, you're in for a long road. I think more so faith will guide you and get you to places that your money, your knowledge, your wisdom can never get you. And you wanna add on that?
No, I was going to ask you something.
Go ahead, please do.
Well, you know how it is typical, because our audience is most likely female, and it is so typical to think when you know that a couple has a problem. So what did he do? So what advice can, because I believe that a lot of time is just like we don't know how to really communicate with our male counterpart.
Yes.
So what advice would you give, like one advice, would you give the female audience that's looking at you today that can maybe make their relationship better?
Okay. A lot of women that I counsel in relationships say one of the biggest problems is communication. And after administering the temperament report, a lot of times I'm able to see that the man is not his unwillingness to communicate, it's his inability to communicate.
Amen.
And I mean inability in the sense that it's a vulnerability issue. I honestly found out that a lot of men are actually somewhat afraid of rejection and afraid to be vulnerable because that vulnerability chips away at that armor that they think they have to have in a society. And I'm just encouraging the men out there, if you have somebody that loves you, if you have somebody that truly has your back, you need to tap into that. You need to explore that. You need to open up and tell her what you're dealing with as a man. And kind of what I mentioned before, where men need to communicate with each other. If you don't talk to anybody about your pressure, about all the stuff that's happening, you can't tell me that men today aren't stressed. You as you know, across the board. I mean, there's a lot we have to deal with, and women, but women are more in touch with their emotional side. They can release that pressure. Women can cry. Crying is a good thing. I don't know if everybody knows that, but crying is therapeutic. I encourage people to sometimes cry it out because you can just release that pressure. But men, we don't have that valve. So a lot of times we internalize it, and then we blow up. And then it's too late. It's too late to talk. So try to get them to communicate, ladies, to your man another way. Maybe, I don't know, I often tell a lot of women to try to have those serious conversations early in the day. A lot of men just don't have the emotional energy towards the end of the day to really engage. And what happens, they get frustrated. I don't want to, and it's really more of a defense mechanism to prevent them from being drained a little bit more. So, and to each his own, though, of course. To each his own.
Mishka is saying, what if you just can't find the words to explain your inner pain?
That's deep.
Well, sometimes you can't find the words, you can put those words on paper. The best way you can. You can write a letter. I mean, there's so many ways to communicate. I don't think it's that you can't find the words. It's more so you're just not putting enough effort into it to really get it out. That's kind of a tough question because everybody has their breaking point, and hopefully whoever posed that question gets the help they need before, unfortunately, they reach that breaking point, because you have to be able to find a way to communicate.
Lavi Bohem
I
asked,
can.
sorry.
No, I was going to say I can relate because sometimes it's taught the way that you were raised.
Right.
For example, I was
Yes.
raised that you're not allowed to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend a good amount of time
Mm-hmm.
thinking I only can say what I feel when it's the point of no return and I explode. So like when I was raised, I was not raised that we can have debates.
Right.
It's either you're angry at me or I'm angry at you, and
My
if
way or the
not,
highway kind of, right? Yeah.
so
Okay.
that could be that too.
It is. There's no one answer to everything, and there's no one therapy or one method that's going to fix everybody's problems, because we're all differently. We're all wired differently. We have different ideas. We process things in a different manner. We've all had different life experiences. So there's no way I can apply a method to one person if another person hasn't lived their exact life. There's differences, and you have to respect those differences.
But I would definitely not that I'm promoting Dr. Jason,
Why not?
but I would definitely advise that maybe you can take the temperament
test.
Yes. Because what happened is sometimes you don't realize that you didn't understand the trigger point of your partner.
Right.
Sometimes it's some words that you're not supposed to say. I mean, and you didn't know that. You just say them, and that's why you always end up into conflict.
Yes.
So I think that's so valuable.
Very important. That was wonderful.
Yes.
Last question.
Yes.
Lavi Bohem, can someone be depressed without necessarily suffering from depression?
What?
Well, there's different levels of depression. So yes, depression affects your immune system. It affects your sleeping, your eating habits. It affects your weight gain and weight loss. So there could be little small things that are happening, some symptoms that are taking place that you might not be aware of. So yeah, you can, and not to mention, our brain has the ability to normalize certain feelings. We may be experiencing some form of depression, and we've somehow adapted, our brains have adapted to the point where it's normalized. It's a part of our everyday life, not realizing that you're actually depressed. The best way for you to find out without self-diagnosing yourself, because that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to self-diagnose yourself and label yourself with something that you're not. But then again, you don't want to just go and asking people who are not trained to truly assess this, because you got to be careful what people say. So in that situation, if you're not sure, I think it's better just to reach out to a professional.
Yes, definitely. And I think that some people put a huge label on the word depression.
Too much.
That means you need to be so sick or you want to commit suicide.
Yeah.
No, people are depressed for little things.
You have bad days. People have bad
Exactly.
days, yeah.
Exactly.
Like a lot of people would be depressed if they do not win the lotto. I know. I get But
I'm not going to be depressed, but I'm playing, guys.
Yes.
I'm ready to win tomorrow. I'm the winner.
Yes, that's why you're my best friend now.
But definitely reaching out is a big thing.
That's the start.
Yeah, definitely. I would advise everyone to make this like a way of life.
Right.
It's like, think of it like you can have a best friend to talk.
That doesn't hurt. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Any other questions? You have the doctor right here. Please find your nearest place that you can go for help.
Wait.
Okay.
How do I? Oh, okay.
All right. So we are very big on charity here. So can you tell us, what do you do for charity?
The most effective way for me to give back is through therapy. And, I often have clients who can't afford, parents who wanted their kids to get counseling. Recently had a mom reach out to me whose son just announced he was gay, and she's concerned about him with suicidal thoughts. So she's a low income family, doesn't have the money to do this, and I offer to do my services for free. So it's good when God has blessed you, and you can bless other people back with the same talents that He's given you.
That is true. Yeah. And I can relate to that, because I always say that people think about doing charity is going out of your way, or you wait for you to have millions so you can give to other people. I often say do what you can, and sometimes it's giving your time,
your talents,
you know,
your time and talents.
do what you can, because if everybody just do a little bit of what they can, we can make a major difference in the world.
Very
and
true.
That's what I believe.
Very true.
So guys, have you been sharing that live? Because it was a very interesting conversation with Dr. Jason here. And we are getting ready to know who's going to be the lucky winners of today. So that's your last chance to share the live. Do it now. Do it now.
Right now.
And then Dr. Jason is going to choose 3 random numbers, and we're going to have 3 winners tonight. 1 for the electricity bills, and 2 for his
therapy
and counseling session. That's very huge. Okay, so we're going to go for number 1 gift. So what number are you thinking?
I am thinking of the number 42. 42.
Why 42? What does 42
I'm not going to say. But do I have to say what? No.
Well.
It might be somebody's age in here.
Hey, 40 is when you're
So that's right. So 42.
Do you know? I have something to tell you that's very funny.
Okay.
I actually, at 35 years old, decided to forget my age. And I know some people think it's funny, but I truly forget it. Like when I go to agencies and I have to give my age, I literally have to do 2017
I have to get a calculator. I do too.
Yes, and then this is so deep in me that I always said for my 40th birthday, I always imagined that the big hoopla, blah blah blah.
Right.
I actually forgot that I was going to be 40
because you couldn't.
Yeah, because I forget.
You saved money. That's good.
But hey, I'm blessed. I have a beautiful life.
Yes.
So the winner is
Carlivio.
Right,
Congratulations, Carlivio.
Congrats.
So you're going to have 1 session with Dr. Jason.
Yes.
That's a blessing.
Yes.
A lot of things are resolved in just 1 conversation sometimes. That I'm happy for you, Carly.
We're gonna definitely. Congratulations.
So, what is your second number of choice?
Appeal.
I would do what for the appeal?
That is appeal.
Oh.
No, that's the second.
Remember, I'm doing
He's
2.
giving 2 gifts.
I'm doing 2. Right? No?
Okay, we do FPL now? Okay.
Okay.
So, next number?
How about 65?
65, why that?
Is that okay? No, I'm sorry. Okay, I can't do that number. Let's do 60.
60, because number 65 was Carl.
Yes, Carl cannot win.
He doesn't want to pay his electricity bill.
All right, 60 is Lovey Boy.
Oh!
All right, congrats.
Mrs.
You can thank me later.
I'm sure she wanted a session. Go to Edify Inc.
Yes,
okay.
you can still go there. Yes.
And then the last winner of the night is
75.
You love the 5s.
That's the year I was born.
So who is number 75? Oh, Mishka! I'm so happy for you. Okay.
She needed that.
Okay.
Really? See how God
So
works?
you won a session with Dr. Jason.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
Posted that she can find any more she wants to do.
Oh, wow.
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 Look at that.
I totally can relate, Mishka, and that session going to be good for you.
Yes, it is.
Yes. What I say is I went to pretty tough things during my lifetime. And every time I feel that I want to give up or I'm being buried, I always remember if I could survive those, I can survive anything. And as long as you're breathing, anything is possible. Any situation can change. You never know. So when I feel like I'm in despair, I tell myself, just keep breathing. Just keep breathing. Just keep breathing.
I think that's very good.
We'll see what tomorrow brings. Just keep breathing.
Yes.
So
yes,
it
absolutely.
was such a pleasure to have you at the table
Thank
today.
you. It was an
Congratulations to our winners.
Yes.
Thank you guys for always tuning in. And tax season is around the corner, so I'm waiting for all of you to do your taxes. Okay? So any last word for them, Dr. Jason?
I just want to encourage people to seek out individuals that you can talk to. There's a term that I heard that stuck in my head is OQP. That's only quality people. If you're going to seek out people, make sure they're quality people. Make sure they have your best interests in mind. And if you don't have that circle, contact myself, this lovely lady. She's a therapist in training. And anybody else. I mean, there's a lot of outlets out there, but the first step is to make a call or send a text.
All right. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. And that was Taxfit à la carte. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
All right.